everybody, what is going on? Welcome to Regularjosh1. Make sure to hit that like button in this video, and if you're new, subscribe. If you haven't already, make sure to check out Alex's video, aka Gary the Editor. He'll be coming out with a review on the new Space Jam movie very soon, so definitely look out for that. Click the links down below to check out all of the projects that I'm a part of, which are all on YouTube, and don't forget to check out the podcast Space Adventure, Nova Fleet 86, which is on Spotify or anywhere you find your podcast. Hope you guys enjoy! Monsters Incorporated, otherwise known as Monsters Inc. This is one of my all-time favorite Pixar movies. I remember watching it all the time when I was a kid. It's such a fun movie with great characters and honestly some very memorable moments. How could you not like this movie? And then you had the sequel, or, well, prequel actually, Monsters University, that came out 10 years afterwards, I think? This one was less memorable in my personal opinion, as the movie wasn't bad or anything, just wasn't as good. I mean, I get it. We see how Sully and Mike met, how they weren't really friends before, and you saw how their friendship and dynamic formed. Granted, kinda cool to see, but I don't know, something about it just made the movie kind of lackluster compared to the original. Still good, but just not as good. If I have to be honest though, I was more interested in seeing what happens after where the first movie left off. I mean, you have scaring out of the door, and now monsters are making kids laugh. Plus, at the end, Sully sees Boo again. I was hoping we'd get a sequel to that instead of a prequel. However, just last week we got a series that technically does just that. I mean, besides Boo, besides the Toy Story cameos, I don't think we will ever see Boo again. But yes, last week was the debut of the new series Monsters at Work on Disney+. This series was announced sometime in 2019, I believe, and it's going to be among many upcoming shows on Disney+ that will be based off of their animated features. Of course, this show was supposed to come out last year, but, you know, 2020 happened and it was delayed to this year. Now, here is what the show is about. Monsters at Work takes place literally a day after Waternoose gets arrested. The monsters are now moving from scaring kids to making them laugh, since laughter provides them with more power than screaming does. However, Tyler, a new top graduate from Monsters University, is very eager to get on the scare floor and be a great scarer. He soon finds out that there is no more scaring at Monsters Incorporated, and then he finds himself temporarily landing a job with Monsters Inc. facilities team, MIFT for short. He works alongside some misfit monsters of MIFT, while now also setting his sights to becoming a good jokester for Monsters Inc. So as you can see, this has a totally different main character this time around. We follow Tyler instead of Mike and Sully. They're still very prominent characters in this, but it's mainly focusing on Tyler. And yes, even though I gave you guys the premise of the show, that's also basically the plot of the first episode as well. The second episode, Tyler tries to become a jokester by attending Mike's comedy classes, since he doesn't want to stay in MIFT very long, mainly because of how weird everyone is there, but also because he wants to move up. As of now, there are only 3 episodes up. I haven't had a chance to see the third one yet, as that one just came out as I'm recording this video. An episode will be uploaded every Wednesday on Disney+. As for the 2 episodes I have seen so far, I am enjoying the show. I was a tad bit worried about how this was going to be before watching it, but on the week of its release, I have seen plenty of people talking about how good of a show this is so far. It honestly is pretty enjoyable. I do like that we're getting a new character to follow throughout the show. It would be cool if the main characters were to still be Mike and Sully and seeing them running the place now, but I think it makes more sense for them to be more on the side for this show. Plus, Tyler is a pretty good character. Even when he's faced with some unexpected changes, he slowly accepts them. He knows that he can't be a scarer anymore, so now he's gonna work to become a good jokester. And even though he's put in a job that's undesirable to him, while also being with some oddballs, I guess you can say, he still tries to make the best of it. He makes it clear that he doesn't want to stay with them though, but he doesn't really gripe or complain about it at all. Plus, he doesn't start off as being egotistical or anything, since he even scored higher in a scare simulation than Sully himself. I do like the other newer characters as well, one named Val, who seems to be very kooky, quirky, and pretty talkative, a leader of MIFT, Fritz, who is certainly eccentric to say the least, Cutter, who is very deadpan most of the time but is more of the level-headed one of the group, she's probably my favorite one, and Duncan, who tries to get Taylor in trouble for whatever reason. He has it out for him. You know, he's got those shifty eyes. All of these characters are fun to watch in their own way, and I definitely can't wait to see more of them. Another thing that I do like is that the transition from scares to laughter isn't particularly smooth in this. Throughout episode 1 and 2, the power plant does suffer through some power outages. This is due to them being short on monsters that can make the children laugh. Now, in my personal opinion, this does make a lot of sense. Considering that this starts a day after Waternoose's arrest, this is a huge change for everybody. Now all the scarers are technically out of a job unless they can also become jokesters. Some were able to make those swift changes, while others are now in training, with Mike also now teaching a class on comedy. Now, if you have seen the movie, you'd remember that the company seemed pretty successful moving from scares to laughs. Thinking about it, I wonder if that takes place a couple of months or a few months after Waternoose's arrest. Either way, with Tyler trying to work his way up and the power plant trying to recruit more monsters, I'm very curious as to where this is going to take us. So far, I do think that this is a pretty good show. It's pretty cool to see some of our favorite characters back again, while also still being voiced by the same cast from the movie. You usually don't see that, so that's pretty awesome. Also, I think so far when it comes to the animation in the series, it is pretty good as well, especially when you look at most other animated movies that were turned into series as well. They're usually not generally as good as this. I think this looks pretty good to me. If you are a fan of Monsters, Inc., I think you will enjoy this pretty fine. Just like the movie, the show is pretty fun. I do surely hope that they keep it up, and I wonder if we'll have any returns of some characters that we saw from the first movie. Like, imagine if Randall happens to make a comeback. That would actually be very funny. You bet that I will be back every single week to watch each new episode of this show. Have you guys seen the new Monsters at Work show? If you have, let me know what you guys think of the show so far down in the comments. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, hit that like button, subscribe for more content, and hit the bell to be notified of my next video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and remember, you're hearing it from a regular bunny in a regular world. See you next time.